Hey guys, welcome to episode number 548. Today is Monday, so it's Update Monday, and we are doing something extremely exciting today. We are in a Home Depot truck, a flatbed truck, and we are headed to pick up a 1,000-gallon tank. It's a poly tank, it's a plastic tank, it's an aquaculture style tank, and it is going in the ground behind my greenhouse. So let's go over to the warehouse and go pick it up. Check this thing out. It's so big it barely fit through the warehouse doors, and then it takes up this entire flatbed truck. So I'm gonna strap it down, we're gonna drive it home, and then we'll unload it. Alright guys, and here is the 1,000-gallon tank. This thing is going to go in the ground behind me as soon as I'm finished digging out the hole. But this thing is 8 feet in diameter and it's 4 feet deep. This thing is literally big enough for like an 8 to 10 person hot tub. It's ridiculous. So just think of how many fish I'm going to be able to put in this thing once it's in the ground. So let's get working on preparing the ground. I'm going to tip this thing back on its bottom so that it's not sitting on its side. It's a plastic tank, so we don't want to stress any of the walls out any more than we have to. So let's get working. All right, here's the tank. Let's get the rest of the wrapping off it and take some actual measurements, some actual dimensions of this tank, so we know exactly the size hole we need to finish digging. Now here is the hole that I started to dig. It is the place all of the dirt came from that went into the frame of the greenhouse. I started digging it knowing it approximately the shape and size that this tank was going to be, but until I had the tank I didn't want to finish digging this hole. So now that we have the actual dimensions, we can take the dimensions of the hole and figure out how much bigger we need to go and how much deeper we need to go. Okay, it looks like the hole is roughly 8 feet in diameter. I may need to finish it a little bit to make sure all of the edges are sort of square down to the bottom, and sort of finish the top a little bit where it may be a little bit rough, but roughly 8 feet in diameter, so that's perfect.
Alright guys, we are nearly ready to get this tank into the hole. I did want to take a close-up here of the bottom so that you could see how much extra material is there. You can see it sort of waves and bends a little bit, and that is 100% by design. And the reason being is because if this hole isn't completely level on the bottom of that plastic has to be able to sort of form to fit right against the ground. So that helps any irregularities when you're digging a giant hole like this, and I'm certainly thankful that that's the fact, because this is pretty level, but it's not 100% level. Let's step down here into the giant hole so you guys can sort of appreciate what this thing is before the giant tank goes in it. This is 4 feet deep and 8 feet across, and I did the math. I consulted the Google machine, and the amount of earth that I just moved is equivalent to 10 tons. That's like moving 4 Ford F-150 trucks. That's how heavy all of this sand and gravel was inside this hole, and most of it I had to throw up above shoulder height. So I've certainly gotten my work in for today. Super tired. I'm ready to call it a day, but I do need to get this tank in. So let's take a look at the ground here and the gravel conditions. I'm in the Northeast, so I'm lucky enough that I can actually dig 4 feet down. I know a lot of places you're going to hit bedrock, or you're going to hit hardpan, or you're going to hit permafrost, or you're going to hit the water table or something else, but I'm lucky enough that I had this 4 feet available to dig down, and we're not even at sort of the water level here. I'm sure I could probably dig another 8 to 10 feet and I'd be okay. When we look at the substrate or the soil that we have around here, I thought this was pretty interesting. I'm no geologist by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, it's not often that you get to dig a hole this deep and sort of appreciate all of the different layers of life that exists sort of underneath your feet. And so, as you can see, we've got a good, I would call it 24 inches of sort of topsoil, and that stuff is pretty good. That stuff is, you know, all the dead trees and grass and leaf litter and everything else that continues to decompose and pile up on top of the next layers, which are sort of the gravel layers, which is I would call it the second 24 inches of this hole. And there's a lot of really cool gravel in here, and you know, it didn't take very long to get down to it, and a lot of it is smooth and round, and was most likely deposited during the Ice Age when the glaciers receded. You can see this stuff is really cool. It almost looks like beach pebbles that you would find just walking around the beach, but no, this stuff was underground. So I may do future projects with this stuff at a later date, and I think screening some of this stuff out and using it in some small aquariums, maybe some beta tanks or something like that, could be pretty cool. As you can see, we've got a mix of different sizes of the stone itself, but we've got a lot of what appears to be granite, a few different types of granite, and that makes a lot of sense because a lot of the mountains in this area are made of granite. So we've got plenty of material piled up here along the edges. All of this came out of the bottom of this hole. This ground has been flattened, it has been leveled, it has been tamped down, and all of the large stones have been removed so that we're basically standing on sand. All of the rocks and all of the gravel that was in this dirt has been removed with a rake and a shovel, and most of what's left is just sand. So this is perfect. I don't have to bring in any additional material or sand to get this leveled out. It is completely flat, it's ready to go. So let's get the tank in this hole. Okay, and the tank is in the hole. It was a little bit of a tighter fit than I thought. In some places we got plenty of room, but in other places it's pretty tight. So I would say job well done on digging out the hole. Exactly the height or depth that we needed it, as well as the diameter, the size of this thing. It's difficult to sort of capture how large this actually is. It looks like a small teacup or a bowl or something just on camera, on film, but you get inside this thing and you really realize how big it actually is. But there's the greenhouse, and here is the tank, 1,000-gallon tank in the ground. Obviously, we've got some cleaning up to do in the backyard, but the important thing is this is in the ground and it's level and it's where it needs to be. So again, you can sort of see the extra material on the bottom here. What I'm planning on doing is when I fill this up with water, I'm going to slowly fill it up with water, and then I'm going to slowly pack the sand and the gravel back in around it at the same time, so that the walls are sort of have equal pressure on both sides, and I'll do that all the way around as this thing fills. So stay tuned in a future video for that. I am just totally exhausted at this point, and really excited that this thing went in the ground first shot, and now we can move on to all the other fun stuff to get this up and running.
All right, guys, and that is going to do it for me for this week. I think we got a lot done. This tank getting in the ground is a huge step towards getting our aquaponics system up and operational. This was a lot of work. It may not look like it, but it was a lot of work. We are sitting in the bottom of a 4-foot deep hole, and with my arms outstretched, I can't reach the sides of this tank. This is massive, and I really hope that the fish and all of the critters that live in here from now on are going to have a great home. Special thanks to National Tank Outlet for supplying this tank that we're sitting in right now. This is not a paid promotion, but National Tank Outlet is where I got this tank. So if you're interested in getting a similar aquaculture style tank for your fish, for your koi, for your aquaponics systems, go check out National Tank Outlet. It was super easy. It's just like a regular e-commerce site, except they've got gigantic plastic tanks like this, basically as big as you need, they will make. And it's super simple. You just check out like a normal e-commerce site, and then you get shipped your giant tank basically in the mail. So that was super easy to do. Super excited about that. We sort of have a fish point of view now down here in this hole inside the empty tank. And I must say, these fish are going to get a great view living out here. We've got a whole bunch of trees, a little sky, and I think they're really going to enjoy it. I know I'm going to enjoy it. Anyways, guys, we got a lot accomplished today. I had a lot of fun. I am really tired, so I'm going to head inside. One last note, we have a contest running with San Francisco Bay brand. It is their 50th anniversary, San Francisco Bay. So if you want to win yourself a prize pack courtesy of San Francisco Bay and my aquarium box, we are running a contest. It's about to end, so if you want to go check out the My Aquarium Box Facebook page, you can find the link to enter. to win the contest. There's a lot of cool prizes. It's San Francisco Bay brand food, and some other swag. So go check that out. Enter to win. Easy to do. Hope you guys enjoyed. Next week, we are going to fill the tank that we're sitting in. Hopefully I'll get to jump inside it before we put fish in it, and I'm gonna start to try to figure out all of the other plumbing and all of the other pieces that are gonna go into this tank. We've still got giant mounds of gravel all around the top of this tank. We're gonna try to level that out and make this area look nice, and hopefully get this tank full of water. So stay tuned for next week's video, where we're gonna accomplish all of that and hopefully a lot more. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.